Good afternoon, my name is Brian Limanen. I'd like to introduce my audience. I got daughter Brittany. I have some new audience members, my sister Karen, my mother Jeanette, and my brother-in-law Craig, and my father Don. My name is Brian Limanen. This is my tribute speech for Communications 110. Today is April 24th, 2011. I'd like to take this opportunity to showcase the accomplishments of one of the officer candidates that I have trained. As many of you know, my position in the National Guard is as an instructor at the Officer Candidate School. It's a lot like the movie An Officer and a Gentleman, except it's the Army, not the Navy. Okay? My job is to instill the knowledge, skills, and abilities in my students that they will need to become successful, battle-ready leaders in today's Army. That's the explicit duty. One of the implied duties of my position is to weed out the weaker candidates. This means recommending them for removal from the course, or, as is more often the case, get them to quit on their own. This means putting a little bit more pressure on them, get them to crack, and accept their withdrawal from the course. During my first cycle as an instructor, I had a student named Melanie Nelson. Through luck of the draw, Melanie was put in a leadership position on the very first day. I feel bad for the students who get put in charge the first day. We use them as an example of what not to do. It didn't take very long before Melanie Nelson was standing in front of her platoon with the senior instructor yelling at her to make a decision and lead her platoon. She broke down in tears, saying, "I can't do this." Throughout the beginning of the course, candidate Nelson lacked all the qualities that are needed for success: physical stamina, military experience, mental toughness, and the ability to operate under pressure. I don't recall if I or any of the other instructors actually said these words to her, but we all thought, why don't you just quit? Save yourself and us a lot of trouble. Well, Melanie wouldn't quit. As painful as it was at the beginning, she wouldn't request withdrawal from the course. She stuck with it. Rather than dwelling on her weaknesses, she worked to develop the skills needed for success. She developed the physical toughness, mental agility, and even grace under pressure. She was truly an example of what a person can do when they put their mind to something, even when it seems unachievable. By the end of the 13-month course, Melanie was the go-to student for the most complicated tasks. If it had to be done right, we put Nelson in charge of it. She was truly a 180-degree success story. All of us at some point in our lives find ourselves with seemingly insurmountable obstacles to success. When we doubt ourselves and our abilities, we should look at the Melanie Nelsons of the world and remember to not let others, or even ourselves, tell us that we can't do it. I found that there's a Melanie Nelson in each of the classes. And sometimes we're the Melanie Nelson in all of our tasks in life. And we need to look to people like this for inspiration. Remember that we can accomplish the most difficult tasks. Anything is possible if we dedicate our time and efforts and ignore the naysayers. Thank you very much. This concludes my speech.